Ava Vitali has determination, and vengeance. When she sets her mind on something, she follows through, whether it's love, business, or revenge. Now, as she finds herself reeling from betrayal and the painful reality of her circumstances, she faces a critical decision that could change the course of her life. What is Ava's next move? For Ava, the sting of allowing EJ DiMera and Kristen DiMera to escape unscathed after everything they have done is almost unbearable. She has spent too much of her life being manipulated, used, and discarded by those who believe they are untouchable. Now, the question lingers in the air: will Ava simply walk away from this, or will she find a way to make them pay? Meanwhile, Brady Black has been trying to keep a connection with Ava alive, but the wounds they've both endured continue to create distance between them. Ava recently hung up on him, leaving Brady wondering if their relationship is beyond saving. However, there are whispers that the two will share some intimate moments after he delivers shocking news: his father, John, has disappeared. Brady's vulnerability may lead Ava to soften toward him, even if only temporarily. But can their romance survive when Ava's heart is consumed by rage and the need for retribution? Even if she does share a few tender moments with Brady, will it be enough to make her forget her thirst for justice? Or will her desire for payback outweigh any lingering feelings she has for him? At this crossroads, Ava must make a choice. Will she attempt to move forward, accepting the pain and injustice she's suffered? Or will she finally take matters into her own hands and deliver the punishment she believes EJ and Kristen deserve? There are rumors that Ava is considering turning to the one force that has always had her back, the ruthless and powerful Vitali crime family. Known for their smuggling operations and criminal enterprises, the Vitalis could offer Ava the perfect tools for her revenge. Unlike the DiMeras, who play their games with lawyers, schemes, and political maneuvering, the Vitalis know how to send a real message, one that leaves no room for doubt. If Ava were to involve her mafia connections, the consequences for EJ and Kristen could be severe. She could order her father or brother to have them kidnapped, taking them to a place where they would truly feel the weight of their actions. Being stripped of control and forced to fear for their lives might be the only way to make them understand the torment they've inflicted on others. Ava is no stranger to inflicting psychological and physical pain when necessary. If she follows through, EJ and Kristen could experience a level of torment that leaves them shaken to their core. But would it be enough to make them change their ways? Would they finally give up their criminal habits, realizing they are no longer the ones in control? Or would they fight back, leading to an all-out war between the DiMeras and the Vitalis? Ava's potential revenge plot could send shockwaves through Salem, affecting not just her and the DiMeras, but everyone connected to them. If she chooses this path, it could have unintended consequences, drawing Brady further away from her rather than closer. Would she be willing to risk her relationship with him in exchange for her own sense of justice? Or will she come to the realization that revenge is a lonely road, one that might leave her more isolated than ever? Ava's future is hanging in the balance, and the decision she makes next could define her for years to come. Will she find peace, love, or vengeance? The clock is ticking, and Salem is about to feel the storm that is Ava Vitali. Do you think Ava should go through with her revenge, or is there another path for her? One thing is certain. Ava is not a woman to be underestimated, and whatever she decides, it will leave an impact no one will forget. Next, the disappearance of John Black sends shockwaves through Salem. Wednesday, March 5, 2025, brings heartbreak, uncertainty, and deep concern to the residents of Salem as the news of John Black's mysterious disappearance spreads. Marlena struggles to process the news at the hospital. Marlena sits at her desk, staring at a framed photograph of John. Memories flood her mind, taking her back to a time when she returned from the dead and found her way back to John at the docks. It had been a moment of love, recognition, and relief. Now, however, all she feels is a growing sense of dread. Where is John? What will she tell their children? The sound of the door opening pulls her from her thoughts. Brady steps into the office, looking tired yet determined. He has just dropped Rachel off at her therapy session and has come seeking guidance about his complicated situation with Ava. But the moment he sees his stepmother's troubled expression, he knows something is terribly wrong. "Marlena?" he asks cautiously. "What happened?" She hesitates for a moment, struggling to find the words. "It's John," she finally says, her voice breaking. "He's missing." Brady blinks in disbelief. "Missing? What do you mean?" Marlena takes a deep breath and explains that she had spoken with Shane Donovan, who has been trying to arrange a phone call between her and John. However, John's manager hasn't been able to locate him. The ISA is now actively searching for him, but as of now, there is no confirmation of whether he is safe or even alive. A heavy silence fills the room as Brady absorbs the devastating news. His initial shock quickly turns into protective determination. He moves to his stepmother's side and wraps his arms around her, holding her as she trembles. "I hate that you're going through this," he murmurs. "But we'll find him, Marlena. We have to believe that." She nods, clinging to the small thread of hope he offers. They agree that Belle and Paul need to be informed immediately. Brady volunteers to call Paul, while Marlena says she will tell Belle in person. Before he leaves, he kisses her on the forehead. "We're in this together," he reassures her. "We won't stop until we bring Dad home." Belle receives heartbreaking news a short while later. Belle arrives at the hospital after receiving a text from Marlena. She walks into her mother's office, her expression one of worry. "Mom, what's going on?" she asks, settling into the chair across from Marlena. Marlena takes a deep breath, bracing herself. "It's about your father," she says gently. "He's missing." Belle's face drains of color. "What? Missing? What does that mean?" Marlena explains the situation, repeating what she knows from Shane. Belle listens, her eyes wide with fear. Tears brim at the edges, but she fights to keep them at bay. "I don't understand. How could he just disappear?" Marlena shakes her head, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know, sweetheart." Belle reaches across the desk and takes her mother's hand. "We'll find him. He's strong. He's been through so much, he'll come back to us." Marlena nods, but the uncertainty in her eyes remains. Brady breaks the news to Paul. Kristen strikes again at the DiMera mansion. Brady paces as he dials Paul's number. When his half-brother answers, Brady hesitates for a brief moment before forcing himself to speak. "Paul, I need to tell you something. It's about Dad." Paul, sensing the seriousness in his voice, immediately stiffens. "What's wrong?" Brady delivers the grim news, his voice thick with emotion. On the other end, Paul falls silent. The weight of the words settles heavily between them. Finally, Paul exhales sharply. "We have to find him. Have you talked to the ISA?" Brady nods, even though Paul can't see him. "Marlena has. They're on it, but we don't know anything yet." Before their conversation can continue, Brady hears a noise behind him. He turns to see Kristen standing in the doorway, her expression cold and unreadable. Paul, noticing the pause, asks, "Brady? What's wrong?" "Nothing," Brady says quickly. "I'll call you back." He ends the call and looks at Kristen warily. Kristen steps forward, her gaze sharp. "I had an interesting run-in with Ava today." Brady folds his arms. "What did you do?" Kristen smirks. "Oh, I confronted her." "And do you know what she did?" "She attacked me." Brady's eyes widen. "What? Are you okay?" Kristen scoffs. "I'll survive. But I could have pressed charges." Brady frowns, running a hand over his face. "Kristen, what were you thinking? Pushing Ava like that?" Kristen narrows her eyes. I was thinking about protecting you. You should be thanking me. Brady doesn't respond. Instead, he pulls out his phone again and dials Ava's number. When she answers, he immediately apologizes. I just talked to Kristen, he says. I don't even know how to thank you for backing off. I'm really sorry about what happened. Ava's voice is quiet, distant. I'm sorry too. Then, without another word, she hangs up, leaving Brady standing alone in the mansion, more confused than ever. A dark cloud looms over Salem as the night settles over Salem. The uncertainty surrounding John Black's disappearance weighs heavily on his loved ones. Marlena, Belle, and Paul struggle to hold on to hope, while Brady finds himself caught between family and the ghosts of past mistakes. Meanwhile, Kristen continues to weave her own web of chaos, and Ava's silence hints at something more beneath the surface. With the ISA on the case and emotions running high, one question lingers in the air: where is John Black, and will he ever return home?